super excited to hear from, perfect lead-in for Brian's Fireside Chat with Eric Johnson, to hear from Facebook, since they've just been complimented so much. Come on up, Brian and Eric.
All right. Let me just give a quick intro of Eric so you know who he is. So he's the head of Atlas. Eric was responsible for growing Facebook's ad serving and measurement business. Prior to this role, Eric was based in Singapore as a VP for Asia Pacific, where he led the regional sales team. He was at Microsoft for 12 years, most recently as a GM of the consumer and online business in Greater China. So a lot in that presentation. Yeah. Advertising sucks, and you shouldn't be in ad tech unless you're at Facebook. So I guess you're all right. One of the things I thought was interesting, the comment was about Apple. What is Apple's mission? So I actually want to ask for you, what is Atlas's mission at Facebook?
Yeah, it's always tough to get up after a presentation like that because we're going to talk about ad technology. So we'll try to keep it light and humorous, but it's probably not the same. Look, on the Atlas side, the mission that we have is actually quite simple. We want to help marketers see value clearly so they can provide great experiences for people who consume their brands. And that is a mission that you've probably heard before. Lots of people are talking about doing something similar. What underlies it is this product called Atlas. And that product is an ad serving and measurement platform. Not that different than some of the ad server and measurement platforms out there, with one big exception. And that is that it's a people-based service. And sometimes, you hear that word floating around a lot, like a people-based solution. What does that mean? And it kind of gets back to this mission. What it means is that you use the real information from real people to power this thing. So to give you an example, I said we want to help marketers see value clearly. If you're using a people-based solution rather than, say, a cookie-based solution with Atlas, you'll be able to see 37% more conversions, or attribute 37% more conversions to someone who saw an ad somewhere and then bought something maybe on a different device or from a different website. And that's really important because ultimately, as Scott just said, or maybe it was Terry, that what marketers want is they want revenue. And one of the challenges is figuring out where that revenue comes from. So our goal is to help people see that value more clearly and help people piece that story together when they're doing their marketing.
Great. So the results that Facebook announced just recently were staggering. 52% year-over-year growth to $5.4 billion in revenues and 1.65 billion monthly active users. So effectively, the O&O business is printing money, and per Scott's presentation, not even taking full advantage of all the owned properties with Instagram, Messenger. So with that in mind, how does Facebook look at having a third-party business such as Atlas? How does that play into the rest of the mix?
Yeah, well, I think there's two parts to it. One is someone said to me once in one of these conferences, it's nice to have a rich uncle. So there's that element to it, which is that Facebook is always investing in new businesses, and ad tech is one of those. So there was the acquisition of Instagram a few years ago, and now that's an integral part of the company. There have been other acquisitions along the way. So we feel very fortunate to be part of Facebook because we're in an investment mode and we get to kind of be part of that broader ecosystem. But there's a second and perhaps more important reason, which is that what we're trying to do with Atlas actually ties into the Facebook business and ties into the broader ecosystem in quite a meaningful way. We believe that for a long time, when people have been buying ads and doing marketing online, there's been a pretty heavy focus on things around last touch and last click, and that's distorted the marketplace. And that a whole range of, we'll call them publishers or broadcasters or whatever you want to call them, who have been in the media business have been influencing purchases and not getting due credit for that. And that's important because that impacts a company like Facebook where people spend a lot of time, and it's an influence mechanism as well. So one of the other things that Facebook is trying to do with Atlas and with our advertiser-facing business is really go out and help people measure more effectively, help people understand how their ads are performing. And we believe by doing that, it will have a benefit not just for advertisers, but also for publishers. I'll give you a statistic to back that up. Mobile publishers who use a service like Atlas are able to see or attribute 25% more conversions to an ad that maybe ran on their platform that drove a conversion somewhere else. So in a world where people are spending all of their time on multiple devices, on different sites, engaging in different times of day in different ways and places, the ability to stitch that together is really, really important. And that benefits, as I mentioned, Facebook and really anyone who's in the business of providing a great experience for their users.
Great. So in the audience, there's a number of DSPs. It was rumored for a long time that you were building one, but then there was news that you were backing away from that. Where are you with those plans, and what were you looking at? What are you doing now in that area?
Yeah, let me start with one kind of high-level principle, which is that we do believe that if you're measuring effectiveness, you need to, over time, find a way to activate against that. I think that's really important. Measurement without some way to do something with it isn't particularly useful. And then on the measurement side, we've got a number of tools with Atlas that can help you kind of drill down and understand how your media is performing, and you can make decisions as part of that. Last fall, we did run some tests with a buying platform that was powered by some of the same people-based data that we use in Atlas. And we learned a couple of things as part of that trial. On the one hand, we learned that that works quite well, that being able to use people-based information when you're going to find media is actually quite useful. But we also found that a large percentage of the places that advertisers were running their media were actually poor experiences. They were poor experiences because they were ads that were, obfuscated domains or below the fold, or in some cases just flat out fraudulent ads. The ads never ran. And we took a step back and said, that's not a service that we want to build. We don't want to build any kind of a buying platform that just taps into open exchanges where there's a potential for fraud or a potential to not have a good experience for advertisers. So we took a step back. Ultimately, we do believe that we should have a buying platform. We have one today in the Audience Network, which is a place where you can go and buy ads on Facebook, or you can buy on publishers that are part of our network. And that's very focused on mobile because we see a lot of growth there. And then we announced yesterday that you'll be able to buy video ads as well. So long-winded way of saying that we do believe there should be a buying platform, and we're working on this with Audience Network. And over time, I think we'll see more alignment between that buying platform and some of the measurement capabilities that you see on Atlas.
And great, and especially with the new announcement, fraud, and especially viewability with video, is one of the prevalent topics here, and will be discussed later in the day on the main stage. With that in mind, what are you guys doing in that area to address it?
Yeah, fraud. I mean, if there's anything, I'm glad it's being discussed today, because I look at it as kind of the biggest threat broadly to our industry is fraud. And I say that knowing that everyone in this room, if you asked, do you participate in fraud, no one would raise their hand. But the reality of it is, if you look at the ANA, there's $7.2 billion of fraud in the digital business. And so, how do you reconcile those two things? And the way that happens is that we've done such a good job, all of the people in the ad tech industry, of stitching together the way that ads can be bought and sold and data is shared, that we've made it hard to really police fraud. The bulk of the people in ad tech are not out to do anything fraudulent, but all it takes is a few fraudulent players and a system that's as integrated as ours for that fraud to flow throughout the whole system. And we look at that and say it's a problem because it's hurting credibility for everybody who's in ad technology. Whether you're Atlas, or you're DoubleClick, or anyone, the fact that there's fraud out there, or a smaller player in a very specific part of the ecosystem, the fact that there's fraud is hurting all of us. And so we take a strong stand against that. I mentioned that we scaled back the original plans for our buying platform last fall to make sure that we could eliminate fraud. We also made some announcements earlier this year around what we're doing on the Audience Network side. As part of the LiveRail acquisition, we actually pulled out almost 3/4 of the inventory because we saw it was fraudulent. And we did that because we didn't feel good representing that inventory to the advertisers who were buying through the platform. And so there's a role to be played for everybody. There's a role to be played on the ad tech side around really being aware of it and saying, we want to do everything we can to drive that fraud out, and making it part of kind of our communication strategy when we talk to brands and talk publicly. There's also a role for the advertiser. Obviously, this fraud wouldn't exist if people weren't buying it. And so for the advertiser, the message is you should be demanding non-fraudulent inventory when you plug into one of these systems. And you also have to think differently about how you're valuing what it is you're buying. Rather than focused on just CPM or a blended CPM rate, start focusing more on outcomes. I think a lot of companies go out and buy media, and they say, I want to hit a certain threshold. I want to spend a certain amount to achieve my business objectives. But they don't actually think about what that means. That maybe they're kind of filling in some of their CPM buys with some low-quality stuff so they hit that target and hit their best business outcomes. And that's a bad thing, because in a lot of cases, if something is too cheap or appears too cheap, it is. It's too cheap because, in fact, it's probably a fraudulent ad. So it's probably the top concern for what we're doing in ad tech, and we see it as a top concern for the industry as a whole.
Great, and I know that Facebook O&O has partnered with Moat and some others, for measurement. For Atlas, are you partnering with players? And also the audience is full of the ecosystem, so if you have any thoughts of areas to partner or advice on how to partner with Facebook, I'm sure they'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I think the journey that we're on to help people understand, people being advertisers, better understand the value and how their marketing is performing, that's not something that we're going to do by ourselves. I think success in that space is going to require the ecosystem. And I also mentioned fraud. I mean, fraud is a pervasive topic that touches anybody who's in the ad tech ecosystem, and we're not going to tackle that all by ourselves. We're going to need help there as well. So first and foremost, being an ecosystem player and partnering with as many companies as possible is actually first and foremost on our agenda. It's something we feel quite strongly about. We do partner, you mentioned some companies, we partner with people in the rich media space as well. We partner with people on the DCO space, on the search space. So we have quite a range of partners that we work with, but we're always looking to increase that. And people sometimes say, well, okay, if you're looking to increase it, how come you say no to some partners? Because we do. And the fact is, we want to make sure that when we do this, we do it in a way where we're driving towards those business objectives. If partners come to us and say, we want to work and take your identity and go build out a separate stack, that worries us a lot. It worries us because how do we make sure that fraudulent activity isn't seeping into that ecosystem? Or how do we make sure that we're protecting the privacy of the 1.65 billion people who are using Facebook? So we're very open to partnering. We do have some perhaps some constraints on what we do. They're a little bit more restrictive than others because we are trying to hold a tight position on fraud and make sure that everyone who uses Facebook feels confident that when their data is shared with Facebook, it's being used in a safe and intelligent way across the ecosystem.
All right, and so where do you see Atlas in 12 months, 24 months? Where do you see the business moving?
That's a great question. I think that hopefully it comes through. I'm really excited about the space that we're in because I believe there is an opportunity to do something a little bit different in the ecosystem and perhaps improve the situation for marketers. Maybe a best way to answer that question is to start a few years out and work back. And I say that because it's really hard to know exactly what 12 months looks like. And I think, longer term, what we would like to do with Atlas is we would like to make it possible for marketers to measure all of their media, or pretty much any digital touch point, whether you call it media or not, and be able to see, how that media is performing in terms of driving their specific business objectives. And there are kind of three big challenges we need to solve as an industry to be able to do that. One is around the ability to measure everything. So there are definitely publishers out there that make it challenging for third parties to go in and measure ads on their sites. And as part of that, that kind of holds us back. So that's one big challenge. A second one is around kind of closing the loop between offline and online. So increasingly, things that are purchased are online, but there's still a lot of businesses done kind of in the traditional way. We'll call it bricks and mortar, although the line between bricks and mortar and e-commerce is blurring, as we just heard. But in a lot of instances, if you go see an ad and then you go to a store and buy something, you need to be able to track that. And that requires partnership with the industry as a whole, partnership with retailers, partnership across the ecosystem. So that's the second thing that we have to go work and address. And then a third thing really is just around fraud and making sure that people feel confident in the industry as a whole. Because if they don't, they'll start pulling back their dollars. And so I know that there's a lot of talk out there about whether television or we'll call it online, if you will, like where the dollars are going to flow. The reality of it is there's some people who are speaking and saying, at least with TV, I knew when an ad ran that ad ran. And it kind of reminds me when I was doing business back in China a long time ago, we used to have to take screenshots of ads when they ran on publisher sites and deliver them to the advertiser because they wanted to know that ad actually ran. That seems kind of funny to us now, but the reality of it is if you go talk to a marketer, they will say, I don't know where my ads ran, and I get nervous about that sometimes. And we clearly don't want to move back to the world where we're taking screenshots and faxing them to somebody, but we've got to make sure that fraud problem goes away so people feel confident in it. Once we solve those three big problems, then I think there'll be space for companies such as Atlas and perhaps others to go out and really measure media across the entire ecosystem and then provide that insight to marketers so they can understand how their ads are performing. That's the goal that we have. From a technology point of view, getting there in the next year or two isn't going to be a major problem. Like, we generally have most of the technology today. The real hurdles are working with all of you to kind of bring this to life. So I'd almost maybe turn it around and say, we need to work on this together to go bring that vision to life. And that vision is actually probably something that's good for everybody, whether you're in the digital marketing ecosystem or you're just a marketer trying to reach your potential consumers.
All right, so measurement, attribution, and cleaning up supply chains. A lot of themes discussed here as well. So,
Yeah.
all right, thanks so much.
Great, thanks, Brian.